Welcome, genius people, and welcome back to Backseat Genius, sponsored by Supernova Toys and Collectibles here in Bridgeview, Illinois. We're here with Justine, who made top 4 in the big ol' Texas PPG 15K on Saturday. How do you feel, buddy?
Pretty good actually. Pretty good. Sadly, I didn't take it home all the way, but the most important thing is that I had fun, honestly, like genuinely, and I brewed a deck and it made sense and it actually got me somewhere.
Hey man, that's good. That's good. And then before we even get to the deck profile, first off, how was your experience in Texas? Let us know how'd you feel. I know that we rarely travel into Texas, super south from us, obviously. So how did you feel? How was your experience overall in Texas?
So we drove, RIP, sleep and back and neck. We drove 14 hours. We arrived at 5:30 in the morning of Friday. I took a shower. We play tested a bit and went to the tournament. Friday. I mean, I was tired, sure, but I wasn't like groggy or anything. I was. I mean, mentally, I was pretty okay to play all 7 rounds. So can't complain there. Different result from Friday and Saturday. So yeah, Texas was great. I mean, weather is better than Chicago for some reason. It was just not hot at all. It was like 80 at least, and that's it. 75, 80. I'm like, bro, are we really in Texas? We ate Whataburger twice. We had that barbecue place close to the In-N-Out by the venue. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay, and then you did mention that you played at the Friday event too after just showing up actually on the day of Friday.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me, first off. You're
Back in some Yugi days.
absolute crazy stuff. Obviously, back, like you said, back in the Yugi days, what we used to do. So first off, how did you do on the Friday tournament?
I honestly think I played well, like through like Friday. Honestly, the deck worked the way I wanted it to work. Surprisingly, even more because a lot of interactions that didn't exist in testing showed up there. The only difference was that I faced my worst matchup, which I also just realized in the Friday tournament, which was Amber Steel Song, not a Whole New World version. Probably also the a Whole New World version, but I played 2 of my worst matchups back to back, and that's what knocked me out. We were 4-0. Me, Dewey, and I. We were 4-0, and then 4-2, and then 4-1, and then 4-2, and then I was just like, let's go home. Yeah.
Okay, and then before we even get into the deck profile as well, you mentioned earlier today to me before we even started recording, is that you did do a couple of changes in your deck. Is that true?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Minor changes.
Minor changes?
Yeah.
Did you feel like those changes were necessary? Did it feel like it did come up enough for you that in the Saturday tournament that those cards were relevant?
No, I want to say the cards that I took out and the cards I added probably had the same like impact, if not probably less. But the idea of the card that I added for Saturday was complete. It's just that I never executed it because I was never in a position to actually like do it. It was weird. It was weird. It's definitely a lot of changes after realizing my bad matchups Saturday for sure.
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's just get into the deck profile here, buddy.
So I call this deck Aurora Restand because that's what the deck is centered around. But the shell is aggro, which is the Diggy Diggy Hole aggro shell. I chose not to go for the lady route because I thought that the 1-drop Rhino was too slow. Shifting on 2 with just questing for 2 seems like a neg to me versus like playing a 1-drop and then a 2-drop that quested for 3 every turn versus like 2 every turn.
Right.
It's kind of like the difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
But it still is aggressive. So I only have 8 1-drops. So the other difference is that I played 2 happies in Friday, so I had 10 1-drops. But I find that happy was not like impactful at all, even against the Diablo decks, because I'd rather like not even play happy. I'd rather just play something else because there's a tech card that I play here that deals with Diablo anyways. So these are just my 1-drops. I found Daisy in when I wanted her. So
I actually have another question for you. So when we were testing throughout the whole time for like the last, I want to say, month to 2 months,
yeah.
we've been constantly testing your deck for quite a while, and you've honestly hated to the bare bones that you're like, Daisy's not the card. Daisy is not the card. Tell me now, after your experience on Friday and Saturday, do you still believe that Daisy isn't the card to play?
I said that a lot because at that time, like you said, like a month or two ago, red blue wasn't apparent. The deck a month or two ago was month or two ago, meaning like before the cards got released.
Right.
I prefer to this meta as set 6, set 7 meta anyways because nothing really changed outside of like Rhino. In terms of like deck representation, I guess Hiram being banned too.
Mm-hmm.
But red blue was not in anyone's radar for like the past month, and then all of a sudden before Texas, people came to me and said like red blues everywhere items. I'm like, huh? So I was just like, I guess we have to go back to Daisy. Like, I mean, I would have to stick with Daisy or like go back to the plan of Daisy. But yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say yes because of the meta. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Next up is obviously Doc. I mean, MVP, honestly. I heard about a lot of people like mulling in the mulling world that they keep Doc, which is kind of crazy to me, actually. This is the one card that if I see in the hand, unless I'm keeping all 7 with 1 Doc, I'm never keeping a Doc. A lot of times I mull this away because I don't want to see it at all until like turn 4 or 5. And if I don't see it at all, I mean, I just got punished or like just unlucky. Piglet, but actually MVP towards like the final like 3 rounds because I started playing much more purple decks, and I played green, yellow discard, and I played 4 piglets on him.
Oh my god!
So
how do you not win from there?
So I quested for 12 before Muses even like came on board. So yeah, Mr. Shmee, underrated, but now actually is the soul of the deck, unfortunately. But yeah, Shmee on 2 is probably like the card to have. So the reason why I'm also like running less 1-drops is because the deck's soul is actually Mr. Shmee, and the spicy card, which is this card. So I have
one of the spicy cards.
Yeah, I have to explain Robin Hood to a lot of people because I feel like a lot of people have misunderstandings on what Robin Hood's purpose is in this deck. Robin Hood and Mr. Shmee are the same person. Like, these two people are the same. Meaning, they both enable the Aurora Goofy play. So what happens with Mr. Shmee is at the end of the turn, you take a damage, Goofy removes the damage to restand, and Aurora restands. Robin Hood does the same thing theoretically. You can exert him to ping yourself, and then you quest 2 with Aurora, and then Goofy will restand Robin Hood and would restand Aurora. That's the whole point of this card. But by the weekend, actually, Robin Hood didn't do any of those. Robin Hood actually targeted a lot of the evasive, a lot of the cursed merfolks. There was a lot of merfolks in yesterday. A lot of even I saw face the Pegasus, the 1-drop Pegasus. There were Chernobog's followers there too. So Robin Hood actually forced a lot of things to happen, and the Robin Hood also going into the mine helps the math, right? Robin Hood Storm helps the math. Strength plus Robin Hood actually kills the Ursula Vanessa on 2 or on 3, I guess, if I go first. So he actually helped with a lot of the math, more so than enabling the whole Aurora play. So Robin Hood actually overperformed for me. And then in the top 8, I played Chernodogs. He was forced to turn sideways. Otherwise, I'm just gonna ping your Curse Morpho. So, yeah.
First off, there was a Chernodogs in top 8.
There was. Playing Invited to the Ball for...
Invited to the ball?
Cool.
Hold on, I gotta ask questions about that later. But anyways, real quick, before we even continue, the Robin Hood, okay? I've never seen you play this card throughout the whole time we were testing.
Actually.
This is the whole time I have not seen this card specifically in the list. First off, how did you come up with the idea? Second, do you still feel like the card is necessary after Saturday?
It's a good question. So Robin Hood, I played him a lot in Lorcanito, like the last 2 days before Texas. I played him a lot. So I just wanted to feel how he worked, and he actually worked the same way as it did in real life, basically. Yeah. I want to say, he came up because what I was missing entirely was Shmi. If I don't hard mull for Shmi, which I don't want to do, um, I just never enabled the Goofy Aurora play. So I wanted more cards that enabled the Goofy Aurora play, which was Robin Hood. At the end of the day, it actually still worked out for me. There's definitely a lot of times where I ping my own Piglet to restand with Aurora and Goofy. So, will I still keep the Robin Hood? I don't know what I would replace with Robin Hood, but I definitely think the essence of the deck, which I think is Aurora Restand with the Goofy, Robin Hood fits the entire purpose of the deck. So I don't know what I would um replace him with if I were to replace him. A lot of people are talking about Dump Truck. It's like the one drop zero,
Zero
one
one.
uninkable. Yeah, it doesn't serve the same purpose, right? So you're looking at the card, thinking that, oh, I can ping a card this turn if I have a Goofy on board, and then restand it. That's not the whole point of Robin Hood. The whole point of Robin Hood is for you to keep doing it for free every turn without um, missing on curve. Because sometimes you don't want to play 4-1. You don't have enough ink to play 4-1. A lot of the times you're doing like two, which is dock, and then by the time you could play Dump Truck, he's probably not going to be played. You're probably going to discard him for dock because you're probably looking for more answers that make sense on turn 4 or 5. So is Robin Hood sticking? I'm pretty sure Robin Hood's sticking.
And would you play more?
I won't.
Or would you
I will
play
not
less?
play more. So I used to also play the shift Robin Hood
Okay.
instead of Rhino because I just disliked the one drop Rhino, and I was like, if I were to shift at all at any time, the Robin Hood probably makes sense. But then, throughout that testing in that app, um, playing something for 5 versus playing something for 4 was definitely like not on my curve. So I took the Robin Hood out completely and just stick with the Rhino 4 and not even play the one drop because that one drop is horrible if you're not playing Steel Song.
Okay.
Standard, Decandio, special, Dwarf. Again, so another thing that people miss in this card is it serves the same thing. These cards do the same thing for you. You want to ping yourself to enable the whole Aurora Goofy play. Don't miss out on this card. Because the curve actually makes more sense because you go Goofy on 4 pass. On the next turn, which is turn 5, you have 4 ink still. You can actually play this, move your Piglet here, ping yourself, quest with the Piglet and the Aurora. End of turn, Goofy restands the Piglet and the Aurora restands. Okay. So don't miss on this. Mm-hmm. This is not just a diggy like for your opponent. This is for you. This is mostly for you. Mm-hmm. Lawrence is a better stats than so a lot of people ask why I don't play the lady. I'm just looking at the stats. There's a lot of red blue, right? Like people told me. So I was like, I can't play a card that gets automatically destroyed by Sisu at any point at any game. So I was like, maybe I could play a card that survives the whole Sisu play. And if you're playing Shark, they don't have the Sapphire Coil, which I played a lot of Sharks more so than items, which is also a luck thing for me because there were definitely more items in that room than there is Shark, but there were more successful Shark decks in the top tables. Okay. Also more, this is better in the Steel Song matchup. Mm-hmm. Pete, I mean, I actually think this card was the MVP because I played a lot of like steals. I also played a lot of Shark or a couple of Sharks, and Pete just like, and the reason why I always say that the Shark sucks is because of Pete. Like if you just have this in your deck, not even for Shark, but it just so happens that it helps you in the Shark matchup, like it just means that your deck's like not really favored, but like you still have to open like a one drop, which is Daisy probably, and then a Mr. Shmi or Pivot on 2. But Pete is definitely one of my MVPs this weekend, next to Goofy. And then Aurora herself.
Ooh.
A lot of
enchanted, brother.
Absolutely. Oh, I actually saw one in Texas. They were selling it, but I was like, I'll hold on it. Went to my round, came back, it was gone.
They saw you playing. That's
I don't know if that was the case.
They saw you playing.
A lot of people also don't understand why Aurora is in the deck. I could tell you one thing is that you're probably correct as to why I'm not playing Zeus in the deck or any kind of like a whole new world in the deck. I think it's very important that to realize that Aurora quests for 2, and that Aurora restands herself. The deck is literally called Aurora Restand. So a lot of people don't understand that you have to ping yourself, quest with Aurora, and whoever got pinged gets healed by Goofy, and then the restand. I have to tell this like to a lot of people like over and over. But that is one of the she is one of the the key components of the whole deck and why this deck even works. Did I play her a lot? Not really, because the situations that I was in, right? I played. I was scared to play it against Steel Song, against Vanessa, because it was just gonna get Zeused, and then you couldn't play it against a red blue blind. You don't know if they were playing Shark or not, so I couldn't play it on curve because they might just get Sisu'd on curve, so I couldn't play it in situations like that. But against purple, against blurple, against steel, they just look at you until they have the outs.
Okay, so then let me ask you this too. So when we first started testing your deck out, we was before we even threw in Aurora. Okay, your thought process behind it is I'm trying to find a diggy deck. I'm trying to find not a diggy deck itself, but more of a diggy style, right?
Sure.
That means super aggressive, low to the ground, not that many songs in the deck, so that way you don't work on them as well. My question is how did you even come up with the idea of Aurora being in your deck?
I saw people playing Aurora as a one off in like Steel Song decks, and then what happened is that against Green Steel, which was by far my worst matchup as a Steel Song player at that time, is because like they would go Diablo on 1, Ursula on 2, or whatever, and then on 3 they would play whoever, Pete or Ursula, and then strength my Ariel afterwards, and I was like, I'm done with that. So I was like, let me play a character on 3 that doesn't die to strength. So that's when Aurora came up, and I'm like, oh, she's a singer 5-2, and it's cool because she also does cool things with the Storm herself, with Rapunzel and Restand and then strength something. She definitely came up too. That's the only reason it was actually Green Steel. I was just done with getting strength on 3.
And then did the stats ever come up? The fact that it's a
100%.
4, the one strength not
100%.
come up at all.
It mattered way too much.
Okay.
Against steel matchups, Amber Steel, if you're in like simplified game state, it's hard for their Ursula, their Troubadour, their Ariel even to swing at you. Their Pete's, it's hard for them to like turn sideways because they're gonna get a Rapunzel value out of the Aurora. So the stats definitely mattered. Like in terms of trading against Blue Steel one time, it mattered. I was playing against Riplongs, and I don't know if specifically Aurora was the problem. Obviously, it was Daisy, and his hand like bricking, his deck just bricking on him. But just looking at like the frame of the matchup, I'm pretty sure Aurora gave him a lot of problem math wise because Daisy, then Aurora, and then the mine. I mean, you can't just one shot. You gotta 2-for-1 everything in my board.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so the stat didn't matter.
Okay.
Robin Hood.
Ooh, wait a minute. No, you said you played 8 1-drops. No 1-drop Rhino.
Yeah. I just think if you're not playing Zeus, there's no reason for you to play the 1-drop.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not shifting on 2 ever. You'd rather play Piglet or Shmi on 2, right? And if you're an aggro deck, you probably want to go wider because of how you want to empty out your hand with Doc, right? So yeah, Rhino on 4, which I never played on curve. Rhino was probably more of an ink and then a closer, because once you've established a board, then you can like start piling up on the Rhinos after they just dedicated their outs to the rest of your board. And then Rhino just kind of like free quested for the entire night. Rhino's obviously good, just like a 2-for-1 card. Like I said, the entire deck probably is made out of like 2-for-1s because of the 1-4s, the 4-5s, the mine, the Robin Hood being 1-3 also matters. The Goofy being 3-4 matters. Like the stat line of the deck was pretty great, honestly. But the Rhino, to me, served as my Robin Hood, right? Because like I said earlier, I was playing the Robin Hood shift. But I'm like, if there was a world where I don't shift, how much am I willing to pay for a card that's like a later game type of card, which is like Robin Hood?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, maybe I just never into 5, which I don't really into 5. So yeah, Rhino definitely served the late game like pretty good.
Okay.
Rapunzel, I mean,
Nothing to say about that.
we don't really have to talk about Rapunzel, but actually playing Aurora makes the Storm Rapunzel. So I've been telling people a lot that the Storm and Rapunzel probably will never be played in my deck nowadays, at least. Storm and Rapunzel are probably like the worst cards in my deck because if you're going against a person that's good, they will never give you 3 cards to draw with, and then you probably end up like pinging yourself a lot of times in order to draw with Rapunzel, right? Um, so in this deck, which is what you do, you ping yourself a lot, right? Because it's the whole, uh, this is the whole spiel of the deck. So Rapunzel is actually better in this deck than your normal regular Steel Song or just Ember Seal deck because your plan is actually to ping yourself. And then, oh yo,
Oh, yo?
oh yo, the chef. This is what everyone saw live on stream. I'm pretty sure everyone cracked the goofy shmee already, right? I didn't see that. I don't know who started that. I didn't see it obviously, but when I saw it when I was playing it, I didn't know that shmee goofy was already a thing. I just thought that Shmi Aurora and Goofy was the whole package, and nobody figured it out because I've never seen that combo. So when I've explained to people on stream about the whole thing, people kept telling me that the Shmi Goofy already was figured out, and I'm like, okay, great. So I'm not the originator of this. Just so you guys know, I'm not the originator of the Shmi Goofy that existed before I even started brewing this deck, but I am.
I'd say you optimize it, if anything.
Sure. This deck is definitely, I think, better with Aurora. The next version of this deck I probably will share at some point. That probably does include Zeus and Beast. I would say, but yeah, Goofy. We now know about him. Definitely more now than ever. Yeah, I mean, you guys saw it in the stream. Yeah, I don't really have to say anything. He put the pressure. The thing is, like, Goofy was outed so many times when I think a lot of people don't understand or realize that pinging yourself was actually the problem. So if you don't have the cards that ping themselves, Goofy actually doesn't do anything. So, but it was great that people were outing Goofy over my other cards. I think both is fine if you out Shmi or Goofy, but I think the correct one I think is to out Shmi if you had the perfect 3 songs. I only played these.
Oh, God.
The worst card in the deck.
I was about to say, I was going to ask you specifically about
Yeah.
Storm Reges on. So, real quick, for the people who haven't been catching our streams, which is perfectly fine, he has said so many times that he hated Storm. Because at the end of the game, when you're close to trying to close out the game, he's always going to be top decking this card because he's bound to find it. On Saturday, unfortunately I wasn't able to catch his stream game, let alone try to keep up with the rounds that was happening with him. But how did you feel now, in a more on the competitive side, playing multiple rounds of Swiss before top 16? How did Storm Reges on feel afterwards?
Right. So I was saying, right. So like without Rapunzel, I probably would not even play Storm in this deck, or those two in tangent or in tandem. What it is now that I actually have a lot of ways to ping your characters because of Robin Hood, and the fact that I actually do want damage on my side of the board, so I could restand with the Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just made my whole like I don't like this card even better. In terms of like now it actually makes more sense. Like I'm not just playing the card to draw a card anymore, or I could hard play this actually and not lose tempo because I play cards like Goofy. Because the reason why I say this card is bad is because a lot of the times when you're an aggro deck, you don't ever want to like draw this off top, play it for 3 when you barely have even like 4 ink, and then draw a card and then ink 1, play a character, pass. I mean, sure, it's like that's what you have, right? But on top of that, Storm doesn't like get rid of anything anymore, other than like I guess Diablo. Sure, that's assuming they didn't snipe your Cinder on 1. That's assuming they didn't Ursula you on 3 or on 2. It's assuming they didn't Peach you on 3. Like there's so many like scenarios where Let the Storm Rage on is not optimal at all.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way you can actually play the Storm Rage on is if you're putting it on yourself to gain an advantage versus like finding ways or characters to out on your opponent's side.
Okay.
But since I played the Robin Hood and then the mine and the whole thing, it actually made the card like so much better because now you can reach like threes, you can reach now fours. Especially with Robin Hood, I actually reached a full Maui one time. I put a dock into the mine, ping for two, storm something for the Maui for two, and then
Robin Hood for one.
Robin Hood for one, and I spent two lore, right? So
And then there's another card that just snuck up past me before I lifted up the card. Bare Necessities. We haven't seen this card past set 3 unless you were playing Amber Emerald discard. So first off, this is the other card that wasn't in your deck as well. We were testing for quite a while. What was your thought process behind this card?
So on Friday, I realized that Ursula Vanessa was probably my worst matchup. Just the card in general. If you play that card, I'm cooked. So you go Vanessa on 2. I mean, there's just zero ways for me to out it. So I was like, instead of me combating the Vanessa and playing my own Vanessa and my own Zeus, I was like, maybe the only way I could succeed with the deck still is not to break off of the aggro shell and keep playing the whole premise of the deck and just adding more songs, which is this. So if you have a Vanessa and I went first, there's a high chance that I could just bare necessities you and snipe your Zeus or Strength or Storm or whatever you had, so I could like play my cards peacefully. That was the idea. I only played one Amber Seal song, no a Whole New World. In the Swiss round, this wasn't even the reason why I almost won, but yeah, the matchup is just really hard. I mean, the Diggy is already suffering against Steel Song, so this card I don't even think would like help you a lot. It's more of like if you drew Daisy into just like high will powered cards and Pete to Pete to Pete. That's probably the strategy against Steel Song.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you just have to pray that they don't have Ursula into Zeus, into Ariel, into Zeus, into which what happened to me Friday back to back. Both of my losses was actually Amber Steel Song. They were playing kind of the same list. The other one was the discard who got second, Robert, I believe, who beat me in top 4. And then the other one, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, he's a cool dude though. All the people that I played is actually pretty awesome. Yeah. Would I change bare necessities? So the things that I would change probably is I'm trying to put beast in the deck, which is probably this is 2 beast. What are the other 2? No clue, not yet. But yeah.
Is this a 60 card list or are you above 60 cards?
No, I'm definitely 60.
You're at 60.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what were your rounds? Now that we're completely done with the deck profile, first off, what were your rounds during Swiss, and then what were your rounds through top 16?
Swiss, I played green purple. I don't know why, but it seems like green purple was kind of free. I wasn't playing the discard versions, which is probably why it was kind of free. Free in terms of like, I played steel, and they played characters with under 4 willpower, under 3 willpower, so they got overpowered like real quick. And then their win con is just not as strong. If your board is like singers and cards that has 4 willpower, which they can't really reach as a green deck. I mean, if you have crab, they have many ways to like challenge your board, but again, right? If I have the goofy Aurora Shmi, you have nobody to challenge into. So I'm just gonna quest for 4 until you find it out. Whatever that out is, in form of Bruno, Elsa. You trade 2 characters into my 1. Like, yeah, I definitely probably shined more against those decks because of the goofy Aurora Shimi play. Second round was Blurple, same thing. He just looked at me until he had Hades on 7, and I just like quest for 4 every turn. I mean, there's really nothing you can do. I just had the curve. I had Shimi on 2, Aurora on 3, and then Goofy, and he didn't even find his Elsa on 5, which was worse. So he just really just like looked at me until he had Hades on 7. The next one was Purple Steel. I don't really remember this matchup, honestly. It was just another sweep. It was pretty quick too, because again, I don't know if he was playing Zeus, but if he was, he would spend his entire turn to play it to kill my Goofy. So but I was just like restand, just again. Um, so like decks like that, right? You'd expect Pete to have a lot of impact against you, but not really, because again, you're just restanding your boards. You're not even doing anything. You're not even, you Pete, you're like quest for 4 packs. uh, the next one was the Amber Seal song. It was round 5. Again, I lost to it. Same person actually. We were in table 1. But it was the same person that beat me Friday. So a good player, anyways. So chill guy, honestly. Um, After that, I played Blue Steel. This was Rip Long's. The content creator. I played him. I won the die roll. I knew what he was on, so I kept the Daisy. And I know in history that Blue Steel, in general, suffers against Daisy because it's a 2-for-1 card, right? And my turn 2 was Shmi, and then my turn 3 was Aurora. I actually did the whole thing against him. Again, like it's just like if you don't have nobody challenged with, you need to have the outs. He did strength my Goofy on curve, which is cool, but I think at that point I was ahead, right? Because instead of outing the Daisy, that was a problem from the beginning. You had to out the Zeus. And game 2, he just bricked like so hard. It was like three docks and 2 cannons. But yeah. And the next one was green purple aggro. Surprisingly, so at this point we were 5-1. Yeah, we were 5-1, and green purple aggro was the one that actually um, I faced that the whole deck like shined even more. It's an aggro deck, and I'm a steel deck, so like, and I played Robin Hood, so his Merfolks was just not questing at all. So yeah, it was a big problem. And then the last round before I ID'd was yellow green discard. It was the funniest game. I'm not sure if it was 2-0 or it was game 3. Probably it was game 3. It feels like it. But game 1, um, I knew what I was going against. I told him that I didn't know his deck, but I did know like internally because someone told me. So I mold. I went Daisy. Actually, it was on the draw. I think I was on the draw, but I did. I was discussing. It was an aggro hand. It was Daisy into Piglet, into Lawrence, into like Pete. There's really nothing he could have done there. Game 2, I'm pretty sure I lost. Yeah. Game 3, this is where the triple or quad Piglet came in. So I went. So I drew my first 7. It was Piglet and Daisy, and I was like, hold on, I can keep these 2 cards and pray. So that's what I did, and I drew into like a couple more Daisy and actually a Pete. By the end, which doesn't matter. I wasn't supposed to Pete at all, anyways. I was just supposed to play 2 more Piglets to end the game. But yeah, I went Daisy on 1, Piglet on 2, Piglet on 3, 2 Piglets on 4, and then that was the end of the game. Next, so top 16 though, briefly, I was against Red Blue Shark deck. I was top seed. I was 6th place after Swiss, so I was top seed, and he was 13 or something like that. Me and Dewey the night before we played out that matchup just to just make sure, and the pivotal moments was that Dewey had um, Popsicle and Goofy against me all the time, and when he had that going second even, I lost. And when I didn't find my Daisy, Piglet, Daisy Shmi, Daisy whoever, I lost. So that day, day 2, top 16, I found Daisy Shmi 3 games in a row. Rich again, right? So it's all luck. But my opponent, I think he opted for develop on turn 1. I think he mulled his popsicles turn 1. I'm not sure. But if he had popsicles on turn 1 at any time of the day and Goofy on 3, I would have lost that for sure. We played it out, and that was the difference maker. He always had develop on 1 instead of popsicle on 1, so it was easier. Yeah, and then I got to finally, which is like so funny because I actually got to to show everyone the whole thing on stream, which is so funny. I was like, of course this was happening. I was actually telling him like game two because I was going second, right? And I was like, you know what? I know I'm not gonna win this matchup. What if I just mulligan for the Shmi Aurora Goofy just so everyone can see, even though I'm getting like shitted on, just so everyone can see like the whole combo is cool. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try. But yeah, so I did try. I should have just went for the fun route, honestly. But yeah, game three, I just did a sick play. I think we did a Rapunzel. There was a ruling there too. There was a ruling there that happened that a lot of people were very critical about on stream. He was a cool dude, man. Like world class gaming, world class cards, cool people. The guy that I played against was pretty cool. He was pretty chill. I, I'm 100% sure he was not real sharking. There was just another um, instance that happened to him with Bell, five drop, purple, right? And you can call a judge whatever you want, and that's what he did to make sure that both of our plays were, or if my play was legal. So yeah, I think he was a cool dude, nice guy. Honestly, I don't think he was doing anything wrong. You can call a judge whenever you want, especially on things that you're not sure of. So even in the highest level of game, yeah. Next was Trinidogs. After that, I'm favored. That's just how it is. We played it like 100 times already as well when the format started. So I already knew my lines. I found three strengths at one point, so I knew that was game. I had Cinder on one. I was like, yeah, this game's pretty much over. And then I played Amber Seal again, which was Robert. I think the second place guy. Yeah, I mean he got outdiffed honestly. It's pretty entertaining. I top deck dog, played it, draw two, played more cards. He top deck dog, draw two, play cards. I top deck hamster, he top deck hamster. I top deck something, he top deck the same card. I'm like, Destiny, huh? Yeah, overall the experience was pretty fun. I mean, to come in there with a deck that's your own, and I mean that's more so the achievement. Honestly, I wanted to get first place. I didn't get first place. Sadly, third place. I guess we'll have another chance at some point at another PPG event, but hopefully next time we get there. Yeah.
And real quick, any other shout outs or any shout outs that you have in mind?
Shout outs to all the Amber Seal player that weekend, man. We were so many for some reason. Like I said, I swear to God, I knew I'm like red blue is not that crazy. Like there's no way. There's just no way. All of a sudden, like people figured out a list. It's not the case. Especially that Sharks like not like better against Amber Seal. Anyways, shout outs to all the Amber Seal players that I played. I'm sorry I forgot your name. Just bad memory. All the cool people, Snuggly Duckling, Vonder, I stumbled upon you a couple of times. Cool person as well, obviously. PPG. Damn it, I forgot his name. Dan. Dan from Forbidden Mountain, who interviewed me top 16 to top 8. Cool person as well. Yeah, overall was fun. Shout out to the people I drove with, Ray, Dewey, and Sean. We got there and we got back. Thank God for them driving us to safety. Honestly.
Awesome. Even though you don't want to shout out Backseat Genius in the store, huh?
And then shout out to Backseat Genius in the store. Actually, shout out Josh for top 16 as well. He didn't make it because he was on the draw. I mean, what can you do?
What it is.
That's what it is. You couldn't find a C-suit as well, but yeah, Backseat Genius. You know how it is. I hope I have more teammates that would help me out.
Wow.
Especially content-wise. But,
wow, I've been helping him out,
we're small,
bro.
We're
I've been
small.
helping him out, but it's okay.
We'll grow at some point.
Okay.
Also, we have a tournament coming up this Sunday, July 13th. It's called Beat King Undisputed versus Lords of Lore. It's going to be a charity event. It's going to be cool. There's going to be a lot of people, us here, just jamming games. Hopefully, everyone brings a non-sweaty deck because I'm going to bring a non-sweaty deck. And just have fun. Like it's gonna be obviously Backseat Genius all the way to the end. We know that. This is how it is. I don't make the rules, but that's just how it is. Yeah. Hope you guys watch it. We're gonna be streaming it, and both teams, two Twitch channels. We'll put the link at the bottom for all the information for you guys. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Justin. Congratulations on your top 4, brother.
Yep.
And for all the people who are watching, appreciate you sitting and watching all of this.
Yep.
And without you guys, we wouldn't be here filming just for your guys' entertainment, honestly. And then one last thing before we officially head out. Real quick, for the people, this is a question to you, Justin. For the people who are willing to try this list, any quick tips that you will tell them, or tell them not to play it? What do you think?
This is the final. This is not the final list. Obviously, you guys can do whatever you want with it. Just bear in mind the whole pinging yourself. I feel like a lot of people just don't think about like pinging yourself because you always want to put damage on your opponent, which makes sense. It's Lorcana, but you advance your game here by pinging yourself and then healing it. And Penny is another card that we've tested for a long time. Actually, Penny was like an auto include for like the longest time. But yeah, I think Penny is actually probably the next thing that I want to put back in, and Beast. Honestly, that's it.
Awesome. Well, appreciate it, Justin. And you guys take it easy, and hopefully we'll come back with another video here. Later.